welcome back. Today I will be comprehending the chapter Cleanliness is Godliness with you. So are you ready for it? Here we go. So section A is state whether the following statements are true or false. So students, you have all read the chapter now. Let's see that whether you can comprehend it or not. So the first is Aman was the class monitor of class 6. So was he the class monitor of class 6 or 5? So he was the monitor of class 5. So this statement is false. The class teacher was very strict that everyone should attend the assembly in the morning. So yes, the class teacher was strict that everybody should attend the assembly and should not stay back in the classroom. So this is the true statement. Then the next one is Aman asked Mohit why he had skipped the morning assembly. So yes, Aman asked Mohit that why he had not attended the morning assembly that day. Mohit made an excuse about missing the assembly. So did Mohit made any excuse? No, he did not made any excuse. So he was standing over there and he could not even explain himself before. So this is the false statement. Then the next one is the teacher punished Mohit. So did the teacher punish Mohit? No, in fact, the teacher listened to Mohit, what he had to say, and appreciated him for his efforts. So this is again a false statement. Let's see the next one. Everyone was in the class when Mohit had come in the morning. So dear students, if you will remember that when Mohit came in the classroom, everybody had gone for the assembly and no one was there in the classroom. So this is again a false statement. Mohit came inside the class to keep his bag. Yes, Mohit came in the class to keep his bag. So this is true. The classroom was quite clean. So was the classroom clean? No, the whole chapter is on this only, that the classroom was in a very pathetic condition. It was very dirty. So this is a false statement. So let's discuss the question answers now. Why did Mohit not attend the morning assembly that day? So what was the reason why he did not attend the morning assembly that day? Mohit did not attend the morning assembly that day because he found the classroom is in shambles with dust, rubbish and other waste. The whole place was dirty and unhygienic, so he volunteered to tidy the classroom as taught by his teacher. So this is the reason why he stayed back and did not go to the assembly that day. Now let's see the next question, number 2. What did Mohit notice in the classroom? What did he do to rectify it? So when he came to the school, what did he see? He see that the classroom was very untidy. So he decided to rectify it. So how will we write the answer? Mohit noticed that the whole classroom was dirty and unhygienic. So he stayed back to clean and rectify it. Okay. Yes, did the teacher scold Mohit? Why or why not? So what do you think? Did the teacher scold him? No, the teacher did not scold Mohit. In fact, when she came to know about what he did, she appreciated him in front of the whole class. So here we will write the answer. No, the teacher did not scold Mohit as he taught the class the actual meaning of dignity of labor. Mohit was the only one that he taught the class this lesson again. He was in fact appreciated by the teacher for this, and for this the teacher was very happy and she appreciated Mohit for doing this work. How did the teacher appreciate Mohit? What did she do to appreciate Mohit? The teacher appreciated Mohit by praising him in front of the class and by not giving him any punishment. So she did not say anything to Mohit. In fact, she appreciated him in front of the whole class and she even didn't give him any punishment for not going to the assembly. So in fact, this is also a kind of reward when you do not punish somebody or say anything or say good about somebody. So it is also a reward. So this was the way the teacher appreciated. So the next question is, how did Mohit become a role model for others? Rohit became the role model for others because he was the only one who had not only learned the lesson but also implemented it in his life. So the teacher was really proud of him and had appreciations for him. So my dear students, If the children learn the lesson what has been taught and implement it in their life, the teachers are more than happy, because the things that had been taught to you is to put in practical use and not only for learning. So I hope that all my children implement whatsoever is taught by their teachers in their regular life and not only just learn for the theoretical knowledge. So let's see the next question. Now, after discussing the question answer, let us see the think and answer the following questions. So in think and answer the following questions, you have to think and respond accordingly. I'll just give you a hint of these questions and you have to do them yourself. If you see your classmates littering the classroom, what action will you take? Just sit alone and think that what will you do? What will be your response in that case? And the next question is, how important is cleanliness for you? What do you think about cleanliness? Should the place where you live in should be clean or it should be dirty, or what response you give in such a place? So think about it and give the answers in your own words, dear students. I want you to be genuine, and whatever you think, please write it down, that only. So now let us discuss the language structure given in the chapter. So my dear students, as you had been taught the grammar before too, you know that what are nouns and what are verbs. So here we go. These are some words that are used as both noun and verb too. For example, a watch. You can see time in the watch, or you can keep a watch on somebody. So it is a homograph basically, in which the spellings are the same and the pronunciation is almost the same, but the meaning of the words are different. Okay, so these are called the homographs. So these are the homographs that we are going to use in particular sentences. So let's see how they are used differently. For example, if we take verbs, the first word is insult. He insults others. So here the verb insult is doing some action, that is why it is being used as a verb over here. He insults others, that means he is doing something. He is insulting others. And the noun is I could not bear his insult. I could not bear. Here the verb is bearing. What? He could not bear what? Insult. So insult is used over here as a noun. So here you can see, if we use insult as a verb, it means treat with disrespect, whereas if we use it as a noun, it means disrespect only. You are not treating over here, it is meaning disrespect. Fine. So this is a homograph, insult, and it has been used as a verb in one case and as a noun in the other case. So please pay concentration on the usage of the words in the sentences. So the next is the decrease. Can you decrease the volume? It means to minimize the volume. Can you minimize the volume? There is a sharp decrease in the price of the petrol. So there is a sharp decrease in the price of the petrol means that the rate has been constant. It is not decreasing at present. There is a constant decrease. It has been happening continuously. So here the verb is not decrease. Okay. Here we can see the meaning of decrease. Decrease as a verb means become smaller in size or minimize, right? Then the word decrease as a noun means example of becoming smaller. Here the example is being given. It has not been done. It has not been decreased. But the example of decreasing is given over here. So here you can make out that it is a noun because it's not minimizing over here. It's an example. Okay. Then the next word is Rahul exports leather garments. So meaning of export is to send to another country for sale. So Rahul export the leather garment means that he is sending the garments to the other country, okay, for the sale. And the second sentence which is used as a noun is the export of rice has been stopped. So and the export of rice means a product or service sold abroad. It is not being, he is not sending it here. He is just talking about the export of the rice. He is not sending the products over here. He is just talking about the export of the rice. Okay, so in this sentence the verb is stopped, not the export. Here export is working as a noun. Okay, so you need to just analyze the sentences very carefully and think that whether they are being used as a noun or a verb in it. Now let's see the next sentence. He is progressing in an impressive way. That means that he is progressing day by day. Every day he is increasing or progressing. See over here. As a verb, it means to move forward in space or time. So he is progressing. He is moving ahead day by day. And in the next, his progress is impressive. That means that his development, his whatsoever he is doing is impressive. He is impressing through that. But he is not progressing over here, but the thing he is being doing is impressive in itself. So let's see the next exercise, A part. Read the following sentences. If the highlighted word is used as a verb, write V. If it is used as a noun, write N. So what we have to do, we have to see the homograph and we have to tell that whether they have been written as a verb or a noun. Okay. Now the first sentence is, my answer to your question is correct. So my answer, am I giving the answer over here or I am just talking about the answer? So my answer to your question is yes. So what is the verb over here? Is correct. Okay. How is the answer used over here? It is used as a noun. Here you can see, yes, it is a noun. Now the next sentence is, a mother's love surpasses everything. So can you make out what is the verb in it first of all? A mother's love. So is she loving, or we talking about the love over here? Noun. So it is being used as a noun over here. Surpasses everything. So what is the verb in this sentence? Surpasses. Okay. Surpasses means it crosses everything. So it is again a noun, used as a noun in this sentence. Then the next sentence is, you cannot progress without hard work. Sentence, we cannot progress. We cannot progress, move ahead without the hard work, without working hard. So hard work over here is a noun, that we need hard work. For what? For progressing. So to progress is a verb. So we have to tell that what is progress being used over here. So progress is being used as a verb in this sentence. Okay. Then the next sentence is, the heat is unbearable. So the heat is unbearable. What is unbearable? The heat. So the heat is a noun in this sentence and it is getting unbearable. So it is the verb. So the heat is the noun. Please increase the speed. He is asking you to do an activity for that. So increase over here means a verb. It is talking about an action. Okay. So it is a verb in this sentence. So let's see the next one. I will not drink that strange red drink. So here you can see drink is used 2 times over here. In one it is a verb and in one it is a. So can you tell me which one is the verb and which one is the noun? Just read the sentence very carefully and think it in your mind. Okay. So let me tell you now. I will not drink that. I will not drink that means I will not do any certain action of drinking, or I'll change drink. What will I not drink? I will not drink that strange drink. So that drink, I'm talking about a cold drink or any kind of a drink that is being served to me. So the first drink is a verb over here because I am talking about an action in that. And the second drink is a name of a particular thing. So it is being used as a noun in it. So here you can see the first one is a verb and the second one is the noun. I hope you all got it right. Now see, now let's do the activity B. Students, I hope that by now you have understood the concept of what are the nouns and the verbs and what are the homographs and how we have to use it in a particular sentence according to their meaning, right? So now there are some of the words given which you have to make sentences of in as a noun and a verb. So what we have to do, first of all, you have to find out the meaning of these words from the dictionary. You will write down the meaning of the word light as a noun and as a verb too. Similarly, you will note down all the words with their meaning as a noun and the verb too. And then you will convert it into a sentence using those words. Okay. So I'll just help you to understand the meaning of these words through some sentences, but you will not use the same sentences that I had made for your help. You will certainly make different sentences for it. I know that you are very creative and you will definitely do so. Okay. Now let's see the first word. The first word is light. So light also means that brightness or light in the, like there is light in this room. So, and other light is when you light something, like lighting a matchstick. Okay. So as a noun, first we'll use the light is the light of the sun brightened the room. So the sunlight brightened the room. The light of the sun brightened the room. So here it is used as a noun. In the next sentence, we have to use the same word as a verb now. Now, the sentence says the room was lit by a number of small lamps. So how the room lit? It lightened up with the help of number of small lamps. So it is used as a verb over here. That is why we have also changed the tense in it. We have used lit, means the past tense of the word, and the tense can only change of the words that are verbs, right? So let's see the next word, which is benefit. So benefit means to profit, right? So it can be used as a noun and a verb too. Let's find out. First we'll use it as a noun. Enjoy the benefits of being my friend. So would you like to enjoy the benefit of being my friend? Because my friend enjoy a lot with me. So here benefit is used as a profit and a verb. So here it is written wrong. It will come in front of a verb. It is not used as a noun over here. So let's see that how it is used as a noun. It was for her benefit. Any decision that I made was for her benefit. I wanted her benefit, her profit. So here the benefit is not doing any work, just it is being talked about. So it is a noun over here. Okay. Now let's see the next word, which is attack. See, he was killed in an attack. That, what is the verb in this sentence? First of all, if you'll see closely, the verb is killed. So he was killed. How he was killed? When some attack happened. So here the word attack is being used as a noun and the verb is killed. Okay. Now let's see that how attack word is being used as a verb. A lion attacked the deer. So a lion attacked, he pounced upon. So he attacked the deer. He is doing certain action over here. So again it is being used as a verb over here. So the next word is present. So present can also be used as a verb and a noun too. So present means as a noun a gift, and present mean as a verb as being present somewhere, right? So let's see it as a noun. He is wrapping the present. So what is he doing? He is wrapping the present, the gift. Okay. So the verb is wrapping in it and present is a noun. Now let's see how it is used as a verb. We must learn to live in present. That we must learn that how to live in present. That how we in present situation, how we live. So it is being used as a verb over here. Now let's see the next word, which is wish. Close your eyes and make a wish. And think of something. Close your eyes and make a wish. So it is being used as a noun over here. And as a verb, we can say, I wish I was a bit taller. So here I am wishing, I am supposing something. So I am doing something. It is used as a verb over here. So I wish I was a bit taller. So wish is being used as a verb in it. Now let's see the next part, the grammar glee. Students, we have already learned what are nouns and what are nouns and what are the various types of nouns. So before going through this abstract noun, I want you to again see my video of nouns and its types, so that you can recall what are the abstract nouns. I will be discussing the abstract noun in the chapter with you right now, and while doing the exercise, please go to the video once so that it can help you. So abstract noun is the name of some quality, state, idea, feeling, etc., which we can only think or feel but cannot touch or see. So it is called an abstract noun. It is generally an idea. It is in your mind. You cannot see or touch it. You can only feel it. Okay. So some of the examples of abstract nouns are honesty, patience, knowledge, advice, etc. Now what we have to do, we have to underline the abstract nouns in the following sentences. So see carefully that what things are giving you an idea or an quality, telling you about the quality or the state or the feeling. Okay. The first sentence is, my father is known for his strictness. So it is a name of a feeling that you analyze. So here the abstract noun is the strictness. Okay. Then the next sentence is, happiness is something that all people like to have. So what do people like to have? They like to have happiness, fun. So can you see happiness? You can feel it. Have a particular kind of a package. We can just feel it that somebody is happy or somebody is sad. So it is a name of a feeling. So here also happiness is the abstract noun. So in the next sentence, we shall admire kindness and not cruelty. Kindness and cruelty are a kind of quality, you can say. It is quality of somebody, right? And so here the abstract noun is the kindness and the cruelty. Then the next sentence is, Sudhir tell the teacher the whole truth. So what does he tell the teacher? He told the teacher about the truth. So can you see the truth? No, but we can analyze the truth. We can feel that he is still telling the truth or not. So here the truth is the abstract noun. Now the next sentence is, the length of this sheet is perfect for my bed. We have an idea, the length of this sheet. It is the idea that this length will be perfect for my bed. So it is an idea that this length is going to be perfect. It is a concept that we understand. Okay. So what is the abstract noun over here? Length will be length. In the next sentence, honesty is the best for policy. That it is a very popular sentence, and we know that honesty is a quality. Okay. So honesty is the best policy. So what is the quality in it? Honesty is the quality. So here also abstract noun is the honesty. So I hope that you all got it. If any confusion, please go to the noun video and see all the different types of nouns, and you will be able to just recall what we have learned before. Now the formation of abstract noun. How we can form the abstract nouns from various words. Like abstract nouns are formed from common nouns, adjectives and verbs. So these different kinds of words help abstract noun to be formed. Okay. For example, from friend is a common noun, and from friend it become friendship. So we cannot see friendship, we can feel it. So it is an abstract noun over here. In a similar way, child is a common noun, and if we'll talk about the childhood is a P. So long is an adjective, and if we use the word as a length, as we have used it in a sentence, so length here tell us the concept. So it is a idea. So here it is being used as an abstract noun. Then the next word as an adjective we use is true. And true, the word truth is an abstract noun. Now the words which we use from verb to an abstract noun are think. Think is a verb, action word. So from think comes thought. Thought is in the mind. We cannot see it, but we can feel it or analyze it. So it is an abstract noun again. The next word is so move can be used in abstract noun if we make it as movement. So it is an abstract noun. Now let's see the next exercise. Form abstract nouns of the words given in the bracket. What we have to do, we have been given some words in the brackets. We have to form their abstract noun according to the sentences. Okay. The dash of the salesman was obvious to all. So the word is dishonest. So what was, how can we make the abstract noun of it? When we are talking about the honesty. So the opposite of honesty is the dishonesty. So the dishonesty of the salesman was obvious to all. Now the second sentence is, it was a dash to meet my teacher after 2 years. And the word is please. So what you feel on meeting somebody is the pleasure. So here we will write, it was a pleasure to meet my teacher after 2 years. Then the next sentence is, the train's dash was delayed due to bad weather, and the word is arrive. So from arrive we can make the word arrival. The train's arrival was delayed due to the bad weather. Okay. The next sentence is, the dash of weeds choke the plant is grow. So from grow we will make it as an abstract noun and the word will be growth. The growth of weeds choke the plants. So here is the word growth. As we cannot see the growth, we can analyze it. Okay. So the next sentence is, during dash we are incapable of looking after ourselves, and the word is sick. So during what? During the period of being sick is called sickness. So during sickness we are incapable of looking after ourselves. So this period, this time is called sickness. So it is again an abstract noun. I hope you understand this exercise. So let's move on to the next exercise, which is listen and tell. So students, here I will be just speaking out a paragraph and you will listen to it very carefully and then complete this exercise given, because it is a listening exercise for you. I will not be doing this exercise. You will do it yourself. So listen to it very carefully and attempt the exercise. Okay. The children of class 5 learned the importance of maintaining cleanliness in and around their homes. They decided to implement it by doing various chores. Raghav decided to start putting things in their appropriate places. Rahul started to clean the table after every meal. Ruchi and Aman helped their parents and cleaned the house together for half an hour every day. Raghu decided to wash the sink and keep the washroom clean. Now you will tell that which child did which work, and you will frame the sentences and write it under the pictures. So this is the listening exercise for you, that how attentively you listen. So please don't fool yourself, and just when you are listening to this segment of the video, just listen it for once or twice only and then complete the exercise. Now let's move on to the next exercise. So the next exercise is be creative. Encircle the unhealthy aspects in the picture given below. For example, garbage, pollution, etc. Write a short paragraph explaining why these aspects are harmful. So my dear students, you are very creative. I know that you have been doing these things in the school also. We have been doing Shramdan, and you also participated in the cleanliness drives with us. So I hope that you all remember that you have learned in the school. So what you will do, you will encircle the things that are unhealthy. For as you can see, there is a garbage thrown over here and there is a fire lit around it, and there are some of the things lying on the ground. What you have to do, you have to encircle them. You have to tell that this is the pollution and this is the garbage and what is being done over here, and write a short paragraph explaining why these aspects are harmful. that what is happening in the society and why all these things are harmful for us and what we should do to overcome these things. So you have to write a paragraph describing that what is being happening in the society and why it is unhealthy and what we should do to prevent it. Okay, now let's see the talk time. Rahul and Raj have been to a fort. The fort is in a bad shape as people write on the walls and litter everywhere. They are concerned about it. Read this conversation as follows. Raj: Rahul, it is so sad that we are not taking care of monuments such as the fort. They are the treasures of our country. Rahul: I agree with you. Such monuments not only look beautiful but also bring tourists to our country. We must take steps to protect them. Now, this is the topic. Students, you might have visited any monuments and you might have seen that the people have a habit of deform them, distort them, and they write their names on it or throw garbage around, and they are doing such things that which are not good for our country and our reputation. So even you might have seen that many foreigners come to visit such places, and we should just take care of them and not destroy these monuments or these cultural heritage like this only. So what you can do, you can discuss about it with your family members, your cousins, or you can just give, if you don't have anybody to talk about right now, you can just give a phone call to your friend and discuss about that all these things that are very wrong and that are being done in the society, and what measures that you can take to prevent such things, and how we can prevent all these heritage sites, and just think about it and discuss with your friends. This will definitely improve your speaking. Okay, students, we'll meet again with the next chapter. Till then, bye bye and have a nice day. Thank you.